We are out, ready to go. I mean, obviously we'll do some sort of our own modifications. You know, some of the things that we did with Kurt in the spring, as you guys know. But he's ready to go. We'll do some modifications, obviously with Grady. I'm trying to think who else has a little bit of injuries that we'll modify some things, but they are medically cleared, ready to go. You should be able to see them in practice, be excited about our team and what we got going on.
Welcome back, Falcons Faithful. This is Patrick with the Falcons Roost, ready to give you another update on our beloved Atlanta Falcons. Training camp has arrived and the Falcons take the field. New Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins came in medically cleared from his ACL injury suffered in 2023 and is ready to lead the team into the 2024 season.
Great to get back out here. Obviously, in my situation, it's just great to be moving around in football cleats again and feeling stronger. Being able to compare it to 6 weeks ago, I feel much more athletic and much less, pain. And so it's just exciting to be back in it and expecting to be able to, practice full go here. And heaven forbid there would be a setback. Outside of that, I feel ready to go and. That's exciting because it has been a long journey. So, tomorrow we'll be able to pick up the tempo a little more and can't wait for that.
Saturday night was the first time Falcons fans have had the chance to watch Cousins play in person. But due to ongoing construction at IBM Performance Field, fans are disallowed from attending regular training camp practices. Falcons owner Arthur Blank issued an apology to the fans, promising more access to the team during next season's training camp. Blank sat down with the media for the first time since the team was found guilty of tampering for violating the NFL's anti-tampering rules prior to the signing of quarterback Kirk Cousins. They were stripped of a fifth-round selection in next year's draft.
So the tampering situation, we were advised by the NFL that we didn't dot every I and cross every T, and despite our attempt to do that, and there were a couple of procedural mistakes, I think, that were made by the organization, and we fully cooperated with the NFL as we always do in any sort of investigation, they found there were certain things were deficient in the way we handle things with Kirk, and so we've addressed those things internally. You find something that's a problem, you fix it, make sure it doesn't happen again, and that's our attitude about it. The NFL is certainly doing their job and doing it well.
Now, with that behind us, let's focus on the team and the 2024 season. The early footage shows Cousins giving tight end Kyle Pitts quite a few targets, exciting the fan base and setting the tone going into the season. This will likely excite many of those who have Pitts on their fantasy football draft guides as a viable target for the first time since he was drafted in 2021. Also, getting a large portion of the targets is second-year running back Bijan Robinson. Aside from Cousins, Robinson may have the highest expectations going into the season as he finds a way to share his workload with third-year veteran Tyler Algier. Algier and Robinson may be the best running back tandem in the NFL this season. The old adage of thunder and lightning may be overused, but it does apply well for this duo. Algier, known by teammates as the bowling ball, recently took teammates Drake London and Carlos Washington bowling and shared his thoughts on the 2024 season. He spoke about having a new coaching staff and how he will acclimate to the new system.
But now we got a new coaching staff. Now it's starting back off, but I already have a grasp of how to learn and how to learn the offense quicker. I can bring from 1 to 2 and just put it into year 3.
The running game was not the problem last season in Atlanta. The main focus is on the defense. Moving forward without veteran defensive ends, Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree, puts a lot of pressure on the young pass rushing squad. How will they step up and improve on the already average rush of last season after losing their top 2 rushers in free agency? According to the media in attendance at training camp, the defense has shown they are up for the challenge. Algier was asked about this following practice this past Tuesday.
Lorenzo saying day one went to the D-line. I'm just saying.
We start off a little slow, but we finished. So that's that fourth quarter. They weren't able to stop us there. So.
Drake said there were a few offensive procedural penalties, but he said you don't blame the offensive line because they just want to hit somebody. You feel the same way?
You can't blame that, man. You can't blame the effort and energy those guys come up. Like there's obviously the you don't want that to happen, but first day jitters and all that stuff with the pads on, trying to get physical, that ahead of someone. So it's been good.
One player stood out in practice on Tuesday, and that was rookie edge rusher Braylon Trice. Coach Morris stated he had to remind the young rookie multiple times that quarterback Kirk Cousins was off limits.
Whoever's the best guy is going to get some opportunities, and Trice is no different, right? A young draft pick that's coming here and absolutely taking everything as far as he can take it. You get a chance to watch Hux absolutely rip his face off and get him going. You get a chance to watch the young man go out there early, hit bags, go through steps, go through the footworks, really learn what we're trying to do and what the rules of engagement are. And he's been exciting, right? Remember when he first got here, I had to tell him slow down so much, get away from Kurt and all these things. He's really learned his lesson, right? He's only had probably one close encounter with Kurt since we started with camp and since he's got some of his lessons. And that's just a young player growing. That's going to give us some really good things this year. And he's exciting, Terry.
Who's most exciting?
The team has high hopes for their rookie second-team rotation in Roro, Trice, and Dorless. Falcons commentator Dave Archer elaborated more on this based on what he's seeing in training camp thus far.
This is going to be, this group defensively, the way they envision them is they envision them as a pack of wolves. Mm-hmm. There's not one, and maybe there's a couple of dominant wolves in the group. Grady's a dominant wolf, and so is probably Jesse Bates or Caden Ellis, but they're going to hunt as a pack. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when you look up and you got 45 or 50 sacks on the year, which would be a good number. You get up and towards that 60, then you're really getting after it. But you got 45, 50 sacks, and they come from 14 different players or 10 different players. That's the way they want to hunt defensively. They want to hunt as a group and different guys where Caden's outside, Troy Anderson blitzes through the middle, Dorless gets his as a young guy. All of a sudden, here comes Grady. There's a lot of guys, and that's what I'm looking for from this defense is for them to hunt as a pack and not necessarily having Arnold Ebiketie have 16 sacks. That'd be great if he did. Yep. But I'm okay if he has 8. And when you look over on the other side, Braylon Trice has 8, and Dorless has 5, and Grady has 6. Yep. That's what I'm looking for, and I think that's what they envision this defense. They envision them to hunt as a pack.
Yes.
We can only hope the defense pans out that way. It does seem like the Falcons have a lot of options on the defensive line this season. Word out of camp is they are training the young rookies to play both edge and interior line, giving them the ability to shift and rotate the outside linebackers to the line of scrimmage, creating confusion for the opposing team's offensive line. Dave Archer goes into more detail about the options that defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake has to rotate his young squad.
You start looking at the front 7 defensively that Jimmy Lake's going to deal with. Now all of a sudden you got 2 fire breathers he drafted that are going to play interior line. You've got one guy coming off the edge. It's a new guy, but you're blending him in with David Onyemata, and you're blending him in with Grady Jarrett. And then you just mentioned the linebacker core. You added J.T. Bertrand to that kid they drafted out of Notre Dame. And what you thought, you kind of wondered where are the linebackers at. All of a sudden, that looks like a position of strength for this football team. Yeah. And they're going to find a guy or two that they're going to be able to plug into that rotation potentially from a linebacker standpoint in camp that's going to blend well. So I just look at it, what Jimmy Lake can do. They're going to operate out of a pseudo 3-4 style, okay? But we know everybody kind of amoebas in different ways. You have to have some versatility from a defensive standpoint to be able to do that. Brandon Dorless, we were talking about his arms reach from here to the wall. It's how long he is. Roz talked about the length of some of these players, the power of Rook Ororo. Rook can just rip through guys. So if you turn him loose through a gap and you got Dorless playing on one side, those guys are going to be coming in spelling the Onyematas and the Grady Jarretts of the world. And then you've got guys on the outside with Trice and people like that come on. Oh, yeah, by the way, Carter's still here. He can come off the edge. Yeah. You've got a myriad of guys. You may even see Caden Ellis, because of the health of the linebacker situation right now with Troy Anderson and the way Nate Landman came on last year, Ellis is going to be coming off the edge some now. Yeah. Yep. Now all of a sudden, you talk about mixing and matching and trying to figure out if you're an offensive coordinator. Okay, we got to get Ellis blocked. Where's he at? Now we got to get Grady blocked. Where's he at? And different guys like this Dorless kid's a problem. But now all of a sudden he's lined out on my tackle. He's not on the guard in the 3 technique. Mm-hmm. The versatility they have is very similar, Shock, in my opinion, to what you could do offensively with all those weapons. I think Lake has a very similar situation.
Yeah, it's so interesting you use it in that fashion because we always think the versatility and being able to do multiple things goes to like an offensive lineman or saying a back can play in the slot or just come out the backfield. But you got defensive linemen who can go anywhere down the line of scrimmage. That is a problem because you don't know how you're going to count for him. You talking about Caden Ellis coming out the edge. Are you counting him as an outside back? Are you counting him as a down guy? How are you counting? And as former quarterbacks, we need to know that. Yeah. We need to know how we're counting these guys so we can pick up this pass pro and say who we sliding to. So there are a lot of things that's going to be issues, I think, for offensive coordinators when they have to really game plan for this style of defense where you can have so many guys. And the fact that Art mentioned there's so much depth already at these different spots, it's going to give you a lot of reassurance when it comes to what you can do on that defense side.
With training camp heating up, what player are you the most curious about seeing progress in the offseason? Get in the comments and let us know. We can delve further into individual players and how they will impact the team in 2024. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. So until the next time, guys, cue the outro.